everyone, I decided during these times, and by these times I mean that I just find it very hard to focus or plan or anything, the best is just to switch on the camera, go grab a cuppa or, you know, your art supplies, and let's just paint and chat, or I will talk to the camera and pretend that I'm with people. So I do want to apologize if this is disturbing to you. Yes, my water dish is dirty. I have two quite dirty sections and then one section that is pretty clean. Again, because I'm scared to leave my room because someone will grab me. So I'm closed in my room with one cat. We'll see where that leads us. Okay. First, let's start with getting a juicy palette. This is really important. I highly recommend it. It will make your whole session more pleasant, and you won't have to abuse your brushes so much if the paint is juicy and ready to go. So I did film a couple of days ago kind of a first impression review of these brushes. These are faux squirrel brushes, and they are by Zen Art. They were sent to me and I was testing them, and I was, you know, like, they seem like really nice brushes to me, and I obviously want to try them more and kind of get a more, what's the word? You know, just to form an opinion. And what I do think I will do is I think I will replenish my bright rose. What are you? You are opera. Because it's getting kind of low, and I've noticed also when I'm painting that I'm a bit struggling. So there we go. My precious bright rose Holbein. Anything else? Maybe the Cobalt violet. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. So let's see what's left. Not a lot. Although I haven't been painting a lot with Cobalt Violet, it is because the Cobalt Violet is not like a super intense color. I do feel like I go through a lot. Okay, of course I was interrupted. What's new? I just want to show you sometimes when I literally have like 30 seconds, I will grab a pen. I like the Pitt Artist pen from Faber-Castell. It doesn't feel so great. It has like kind of a plasticky feel to it, but you know, it's like a super reliable fine liner, and it's water resistant. So I would just sketch something in my Cuddy logbook, which I use for all my color stories and swatches and everything, and just, you know, feel like I'm being creative for a minute. And here in this case I also added, I'll show you a close-up, the art graph. So this is graphite, basically water-soluble graphite, and in cake form, and it just gives you this really, really nice texture, as you can see, really nice. So it does behave like graphite, so you can move it around. Not ideal, but really fun for quick sketches, especially if you like this kind of look, which I do sometimes. Okay, I'm kind of starting to run low on my paper, watercolor paper. Should probably stock up. This, what are you? This is like Fabriano, I guess. I don't know, what are you? Let's see. It's really, really old. Ken Bromley. Oh, this is Saunders Waterford. High white, 140 pounds, so 300 grams. Yeah, I should really use my older paper. This is a few years old. So just the question is, what do I want to do today? And I don't know. Do I want to try pencil? Do I? Last time I regretted doing that. I did like, what I'm already kind of trying to think about is the June color story. And I was really inspired by this for a really kind of sun-bleached kind of look. So maybe I'll use this as kind of a color story inspiration for today's painting. And maybe instead of my usual, I will start with white, but kind of keep it very light. Yeah, today I'm not thinking too much about composition. I think I'll focus. Sometimes, you know, it's, at least for me, I'm not a multitasker. I know they say like women are supposed to be good at that. Maybe, I'm sure there are a lot of women that are. I'm not one of them. And sometimes, especially if you want to like experiment, I find it easier to focus on one aspect. So it would be, you know, either color or composition or value or something like this. And just trying to make something interesting here. So, I don't know, orange, not a big fan of this particular orange. So I think today I'll focus on just playing around with like this sun-bleached color story and see where I can take it. You know, if I can develop that idea to something a bit more interesting than just like a sketch. Brush. I'm kind of loving my Skoda Versatile, but I know I would enjoy having something. So forgive again. I'll put there's also clean water here, don't worry. Let's see. Okay, let's start with my beloved Naples Yellow Red from Lukas, but I'll try to add a bit of Naples Yellow. I think the one I have in my palette is Schminke, and kind of focus on that. Could also add white, that would also work. So that's what I want to try today. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're painting along. And, you know, you don't have to overthink it. Sit down, grab something, start painting. And, you know, if you find it easier, then don't try to get everything right in one painting. Think about, okay, today I want to explore color stories. Today I want to explore using yellow in my paintings. Today I want to explore compositions, whatever. Just show up and paint. Okay, so what can we get here? Ooh, that's pretty. Peachy. Oh, that is a pretty color. So I added a little bit of Holbein Opera, and I'm starting to get those corally colors. This is one of the reasons that I really love, even though I introduced Naples Yellow, which is not in my monthly color story, sticking mostly to kind of a go-to limited palette, it really gives you the confidence of, you know, just mixing everything and kind of knowing that, you know, it's not going to be a huge mess because you've explored this color palette. Oh, I love these colors. This is a really beautiful combination, in my opinion. If you watched and loved The Good Wife, you'll know that reference, and we can be friends. I love that show. It was such a good show. Okay, a little bit. Want to make sure that you use color cohesively throughout your painting. You don't want to work on one flower, have all these beautiful colors that are quite unique, because I do keep tweaking my washes, and then not have that color in other places. And I mean, I know how to recreate that color, but I find it's much more easy to kind of go around your painting, work in different areas, than having then to come back and be like, oh, I should put here this color again. So make a mental note. Oh, that's a pretty pink. So pretty. I don't really like Opera, also the Holbein version, even though I prefer it to the Daniel Smith version. I still don't like it on its own. If you hear screaming, I'm pretty sure the kids are okay. My husband is there, and my brother-in-law is visiting with his kid, who is 2.5. So, yeah, they should have responsible adults in the area. Okay, so opera. The problem I have with opera is, I don't know, I feel like I just get more depth and possibilities with bright rose. So I'm going to add that to the mix. I really love the colors here, but I'm already starting to wonder what kind of darks I can add that will add enough contrast but not ruin my sun-bleached, sun-drenched idea. I mean, the fact that I have this idea doesn't mean it'll work, right? But I can play around with it, and it could maybe be the base of a Neocolor story. It doesn't have to be the entire story. It can be a good beginning. Okay, so one of the ways that we can try to achieve more contrast, which we want because that makes things interesting, is if I want to avoid using dark values, which I'm not ruling out at this point, but I'm just like thinking about it, like how can I avoid them and keep everything really, really light, is I can try and use complementary colors because they make the other one pop. So it will give me some contrast, but not necessarily, or perhaps will help me avoid using dark colors, which is another way to bring in contrast, right? To have dark values. So I'm adding some Cobalt Violet, which is not a dark color, to the center of my flowers, which are mostly yellow. Yellow and purple, or violet, are opposite each other in the color wheel, even though the colors that I used here are quite warm. So I wouldn't say that the violet that I used is really opposite these kinds of yellows. And that makes me think that maybe I should go a bit further in the color wheel and add some lavender. Again, not a very dark color. It has white in it actually, but it might help me get more contrast. I do like that. I like what I have going here. Things are getting a bit too... I can dab. Checking other areas where the lavender is flowing into my cobalt. Just making sure there's not too much mud. I'm liking where this is going. I feel like I could perhaps intensify some things here, but I need the right color. Go back and add more of those mixtures I started with. Kind of pump up the volume a little bit, but still these are not very dark values. So I'm kind of looking at this and I'm really liking that light feel. And I'm thinking maybe I should kind of leave it alone, she says, as she's not leaving it alone, and come back when everything is dry and then add some detail. Just really trying to do my best not to add dark colors. What I'm also thinking is adding a few colors in between. And again, like, I think the teal could be fun, but I think I will add a little bit of white just to wash it out a little bit, to kind of see what happens. Also want to see what happens if I add to it a little bit Naples yellow. It will turn green, but I don't know if it'll turn a yucky green or a good green. This is still minty, so I can deal with that. Now, as for the colors here, like each one on its own, I'm obsessed. Love, love, love. It doesn't mean it'll all work together, but you know, if I don't try it, I won't know it. And I have to try and see what I think. And then maybe I'll, you know, tweak it or move on to another idea. I don't even know if I want to add any kind of neutrals. Let's see what happens when I mix what I have in my palette. So I get this kind of muted pink, which, you know, could be interesting. It's very light because all of the colors I used are light. There's something so fresh about this, but I know I can't take it to where it needs to be just with watercolors. At least I don't think I can. Interesting. Okay, I have to think about this a little bit, but this is a part of the process. You come, you show up, you try things. Some work, some don't. Usually most don't. But it's all just, you know, it's like a little pixel in the big picture that is a body of work. And just, you know, playing around, trying things. Okay, so I think I will leave this alone and I will stop this video at this point. And I hope you enjoyed and that you also did something creative. If not, that's cool too. I just hope that you go paint and... Is that a sign? Go paint. Don't just be an observer, but also participate. You will feel better. Believe me. I wish you all a wonderful day. I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Take care.